Hi team, soul family, my amazing army of light here on the planet. It's Shauna L. Francis and today is September 8th, 2022. Beautiful, I guess I would say beginning of fall morning. It was 55 this morning when I went out to hit the gym. A crispness in the air, just feeling like the weather's going to be changing. We've had an absolutely gorgeous last month or so, the last bit of summer here in Portland. It's just been amazing. So I've been outside walking, enjoying it, camping, all that good stuff. Today for the daily update, Kryon came in. So far these guys are doing every other day, Melchizedek Kryon, Melchizedek Kryon. This is just insanity. I know it is. So I really thank you for being here and doing this with me, going through this learning process with me, helping this planet, helping each other, helping create a community, helping us figure this thing out. This is not easy stuff. So Mr. Kryon today, and it's funny because that the app that I have on my phone that translates all the verbiage, they turn Kryon into crayon or crown. It's kind of funny. Thank you, Kryon. Thank you. All right. So he starts off, but just, as always, these guys are they're so generous. They're so loving. They're so, the love that comes through is just incredible. And he said here in the beginning, this is really an incredible opportunity for us to commune in this way, to help bring about real change, tangible change, provable change. It's not conceptual. It's not etheric, he says. And this will be coming thanks to the work that we're doing. So yeah, pat yourself on the back, guys. This is not easy work. So he kind of continues on with this fall thing. He's, now we start into fall, the leaves begin to turn brown, they dry up, they fall to the ground. The weather patterns are starting to change for those of us who are entering fall here on the planet. He says, the plants and, everything's kind of like, the trees here shutting down for the coming winter months to the coldness that will befall some of the planet. And the coldness that will come for the winter months. He says the leaves die and fall to the ground and the trees go into a bit of a hibernation over winter, protecting their resources and readying themselves for springtime when they will be blooming and flowering once again. And he goes on to say, these are repeatable, predictable processes here on the planet. You can rely on these phases of Earth's seasons. You could almost set your watch to these things. That is just how automatic this stuff is. And this is, he says here that these are natural occurrences that perfectly support the life that's here on the planet. It's in perfect harmony to support this kind of existence here. And he kind of juxtaposes winter to summer. And he says, look at what happens here on the planet wherever we're having the summer months. Everything's vibrant. Everything feels more alive. The sun's shining. All this activity's happening. There's a aliveness and energy and a giddiness and some levity. So that's how he talked about summer. And he says now going into winter, we become a little bit more inward, a bit more serious, a little bit more reflective. There's more planning to be done in the winter months. In the summer, it's more doing. In the winter, it's more planning. So I swear he's going somewhere with this. The natural earth cycles affect the human population to a great extent. As well, there are seasons for the human soul. So I don't know if we really think about these things. I know certainly for me, I'm a sun lover. Give me the sunshine, the ocean, and the sand. I know not everybody likes that. Then I'm up here in this wet climate up in Portland, and truly just, I'd say in the last 4 or 5 years, I've come to really appreciate the rain here and the green and the lushness and all the beauty that the rain brings. But I also love being able to take off south and, be in that dry, arid climate of the desert down in Baja. So, I think we could all relate to this idea that, we are impacted by this on in major ways, right? All right, so again, a natural earth cycles affect the human population to a great extent as well. There are seasons for the human soul. And then he says, there are even greater seasons at play here that are also having an impact on this existence. So he's talking about the solar system here. So we talked about kind of our planet. We've got a rotation that gives us these seasons. Well, then also the entire solar system is also in rotation. So he says the solar system also moves through a revolution which brings it in and out of different energetic frequencies. The solar system is moving into a space of highly calibrated energetics that will help catapult Mother Earth into her final fifth dimensional resting place. So this started sounding familiar, and I went back, and it was my very first channeling with the GFL, and I pulled up the transcript from YouTube. I think this was July 29th, 2020. So the GFL had talked about something similar here. The energy that we're moving into physically as a sphere out in space, our Earth is on a trajectory that will put us into a spot in the universe that is of higher light and is of higher vibration. So from one aspect, from a very physical, scientific aspect, our whole planet and many planets in this whole part of the galaxy are moving into higher frequencies. And I also, I think since I had channeled that from the GFL 2 years ago, I had read David Wilcock's Ascension Mysteries. I hope I'm getting that right. He had also talked about the idea that this solar system or this part of our galaxy is moving into a higher vibrational frequency. To be quite honest, I don't know where he got his information. If you've read any of David Wilcock's books, his references in the back are like half the book. It's incredible how well researched this man is. I mean, he really gets into this, but yeah, the solar system is entering a long prophesied high energy cloud area that has the capacity to trigger our ascension. All right, so that's where he's going here with this. So Earth is taking advantage of this natural cycle to make this revolutionary leap or evolutionary leap. And then he says here, the great central sun also plays a role as there is nothing. There are no parts of this existence that the great central sun cannot reach or impact. So the GFL had asked me to work with the great central sun. The grand central sun was kind of, that name was coming to me back in the day. I had done a meditation on this. I was meditating on the great central sun for a while. And that really did help me kind of connect to source and kind of, I guess, broaden my horizons energetically. I need to do more research on the great central sun. Is this thing actually a sun somewhere out there that these galaxies are moving around? Or is it more of a concept of where source originates? Maybe you guys know better than I do here. And what he's saying here, it is the central source of all life on all planets, extremely powerful and important. By the time the Earth exits this rotational orbit that brings her through this highly calibrated energetic field, her transformation to 5D will be complete. I still don't have timing from Kryon on this or Melchizedek or the GFL. And in fact, they've said many times that they aren't in charge of the timing here, that a lot of what we're doing is going to set the pace for what happens and when. And there, of course, this highly calibrated energy that the solar system is moving through is also going to impact humanity, he says. And he says, as you can imagine, this is a great time of preparation. For humanity must prepare for these frequencies and be ready. And as it has been explained previously, everything is energy, light is energy, and it's also information. So we've got this big scientific side of the ascension here, scientific energy. But then he starts to go into the love aspect. And the GFL has really talked a lot about the love aspect, right? Embodying love as a frequency, as a way of life, as the totality of our experience. And as light workers, there is nothing more critical than this, to choose love over fear. He says that the vibration of love is a very specific frequency, and it's not necessarily natural for humanity right now to be embodying this frequency of love. This is now an acclimation. We're acclimating here. And those of us who have signed up for this work have to be, again, those beacons like Melchizedek talked about yesterday, beacons and holding light and love in kind of some pretty specific ways, right? Preparing for that time when this plane of existence will be smack dab in the middle of this highly calibrated frequency, and to be ready to accept these frequencies. This is very serious, and it is critical for the continuation of humanity on Earth in her new form. No pressure, guys. We got this, right? And so he says this is why the work of the light worker now is so critical. And I think somebody had made a comment, Kryon has been channeling through Lee Carroll for a very long time. He's been in and out of this planet many times, helping with the different species of life that have been here. But he's like really putting out the cheerleading here for us, and to please, that we don't lose, that we lose heart here, and that we lose our faith in this process. And it's really important that we don't do that. He says, for those of you who would lament at the time that it's taking to reach these higher frequencies, know that in the bigger picture, this is coming very quickly. Know that you've worked several lifetimes to get to this point where you are today. Can you feel that? Does that sound right? Does that resonate? In this moment, and to be at this moment serving in this way, to be aware of what this is, what is coming. Many, many lifetimes of preparation, of training, planning, and coordination. Please do not be discouraged by this news that this is going to take some time. That part of your soul that is aware of this larger picture in this larger plan is breathing a sigh of relief, knowing that this finally is coming closer. I haven't been at this very long. It's been about 4 years. It feels like a few lifetimes. It feels like forever. And through the halls of Amenti, I'm trying to get in there every night, every day, to try to understand what it is I need to what it is I need to know, how this is helping my mission, how this is helping all of us kind of in it. It's helping me understand, how my soul has evolved up to this point. And I'll save all that for another video. But yeah, I am really starting to understand personally how long this has taken. The last 2 nights in the halls of Amenti have been all about Atlantis and an aspect of my soul and embodiment being on Atlantis. Excuse me. And last night, it was the vision of Atlantis just imploding, just absolutely being annihilated. And to be quite honest, I cried. Like, I'm sitting here on my couch getting into this stuff and I'm crying, because I feel this in a weird way. I feel this on some level that, yeah, that resonates for me. This rings true. And he says here, please do not lose faith in this plan. Please hold steady with us and this phase that we're in. We cannot skip ahead. We have an opportunity here to be wildly successful with this evolution, with this transformation. So here's Kryon. I implore you, dear ones, to remain steadfast in your dedication to bringing the light here, maintaining your level of excitement for what is to come, and finally, all the hard work and preparation will be paying off. And here's what's critical to this. And you will experience this payoff in some form in this lifetime. What's that going to be? Disclosure, some light at the end of the tunnel here, toppling of old regimes that no longer serve this planet, exposure of corruption, rebuilding of processes, infrastructure systems that better serve the collective. We can only guess at what this is. He says, always the last 10% of a long and arduous race is the hardest. You are in this last 10%. That is how long this has been in the works. This is how long you have dedicated yourselves to this mission. Does that feel right? Does that resonate? And he keeps going here with the cheer. Remain strong, remain dedicated and focused. Please don't lose heart here. We love you. We support you. We flank you on all sides. Have patience with the critical understanding that most of humanity is not where you are at. And this has come through before with my guides where we're like, come on already. Where are the UFOs? Where are the spaceships? Let's get this thing moving. Let's get you guys down on the ground. I'd done a lot of work with the Galactic Federation of Light with this panel that I had put together a couple of years ago to tackle some of these questions, like how do they disclose themselves without creating mass panic and havoc? How do we awaken as many people as possible? Most of humanity is not where we are at as light workers. So we have to keep that bigger picture in mind. It would be pretty selfish to say, hey, I don't care about the rest of humanity. I want disclosure now. I want that UFO in my front yard right now, and let's shake hands, and that's just going to be absolutely devastating for a planet that's not quite ready for that. I think we've got to just keep everybody holding space for everybody wherever they're at. And we represent such a small amount of the 7.6 billion people on the planet. So keeping that in mind, keeping that in perspective, I think is really important. Don't lose heart. We love you. Okay, there's much to be understood. This is not an easy job that you signed up for, and light workers of today have carried the heaviest karmic burdens now to be rectified through this service. When I read something like this in his Kryon book 1, oh my gosh, I thought, wow, this is kind of a mind F, right? Those of us who are the light workers on the planet right now we're paying off some really big karma. And this is why we must be in service in this lifetime. So last night, when I'm seeing myself in all this fancy regalia here, walking down this hallway, this beautiful grand palace, and what has been showed to me is Atlantis, and then watching all of it just implode, was I part of the fall of Atlantis, helping bring that whole thing to an end? I don't know. I think the halls of Amenti will tell me if that's the case. Maybe that's a little bit far-fetched for people. It is for me too. But, I think at this point we can just imagine just about anything, right? So, and again, just as the GFL has said, it's important that each individual person who has signed up for this mission to be focused on bringing the light, on anchoring the light right now at this time. We see you, we know you, and I believe this, when Kryon or Melchizedek say, we know who each and every one of you are, I believe it. I really do. I think there's not a whole bunch of us on the planet, and I think they know us by name. They know you by name. They are helping you. Yeah, okay. And then he's like, well, that's it for today. Unless I had any questions, I didn't ask any follow-up questions today. So that's that, guys. Somewhere in the middle of this too, it kind of got really quiet. And I felt my energy tune. So in real time, they're both kind of working with my field so that I can be a clear channel and, get these concepts. Melchizedek has said here a couple weeks ago, I'm still with my training wheels. I still have training wheels on for this whole thing. We'll see where this goes. I'm so friggin' excited to be able to work with both of these beings, these groups of beings here, to do this work with you all. I hope this is helpful. I'm loving your comments, and keep it coming, guys. And you're rocking this. I love you. Mwah.